Look at a coffee cup. Now imagine that everything fits inside it. Every movie ever filmed, every book in every library, every photo humanity has ever taken, the entire internet. And not even filling the cup, just a pinch at the bottom, smaller than a spoonful of sugar. And there'd still be room to spare. Impossible, you'd say. But that system exists. It's not in a billion-dollar lab. It's not in the cloud. It's running through your veins right now, in every cell of your body. It's called DNA. And it should embarrass the entire technology industry. A single gram of DNA stores up to 215 petabytes of information. A petabyte is 1,000,000 gigabytes. Multiply that by 215 and cram it all into a pinch of matter you could hold on your fingertip. Now compare that to what we built. The hard drive degrades, the SSD loses charge. Magnetic tape ages. The data center needs power, cooling, technicians, replacement parts, a backup of the backup, and an emergency plan for when all of that fails anyway. The truth is brutal. We don't store data. We just postpone its funeral. DNA needs no power outlet, no refrigeration, no replacement every few years. It crosses geological ages without caring one bit about our hurry. And that's where the provocation lives. The question stops being, how do we use DNA to store data? And becomes another, far more uncomfortable one. How did a molecule become the most sophisticated storage system on the planet? And why, with all our technology, can we still not copy it? To grasp the absurdity, forget biology. Think engineering. If someone hired you to build humanity's perfect archive, you'd face 4 problems. Density. Pack the most information into the least space. Durability. Outlast a generation. Readability. Someone has to be able to open it later. And error correction. Because corrupted information isn't information, it's noise. Our systems fail at all 4 at once. DNA nails all 4 in a single stroke. And this isn't theory. In 2013, a team of researchers published in the journal Nature the genome of a horse found in the permafrost of the Yukon in Canada. The estimated age of the material between 560 and 780,000 years. Stop for a second and feel that number. 700,000 years. It wasn't a USB stick in a safe. It wasn't a NASA capsule. It wasn't a server with a diesel generator. It was bone, fossil, cold, time, and even after hundreds of thousands of years frozen in the ground, there was still enough biological information there to reconstruct that animal. Put that on the table next to an external hard drive with a 3-year warranty. This is where the comparison stops being fair and starts being insulting. Now, open the machine. A computer works with 2 symbols, 0 and 1, on and off. DNA works with 4 chemical letters, A, T, C, and G, 4 possible states at every position. It's like writing a book using only dots and dashes, while the other system uses a full alphabet. But the most absurd part is the packaging. Inside every one of your cells, there are roughly 2 meters of DNA. 2 meters. Stored inside a nucleus you can barely see. Folded, coiled, compressed, indexed. Without tangling, without tearing, without losing the order. Think how dumb it would be to create a compressed file nobody can open. The cell doesn't make that mistake. It compresses, but it also retrieves. It protects, but it also reads. It stores, but it also copies. We call this the future of technology. The cell calls it Tuesday. And here comes the first real technical punch. When a cell copies DNA, it doesn't run the molecule through a dumb photocopier. It uses molecular machines, enzymes that travel along the strand, open the structure, read the letters, assemble a complementary copy, and even correct the errors along the way. It's as if your hard drive had a microscopic technician living inside it, reviewing every sector while the file is being duplicated. Except better, because that technician was built from the instructions stored inside the very file it's copying. Read that again. The assembly manual for the machine that reads the code is written inside the very code that machine reads. And the result? The residual error rate after correction sits around 1 error per 10 billion base pairs copied. Error correction built into the hardware. No plugin, no version update, no tech support contract. We made a video here on the channel about the peregrine falcon, the fastest animal on the planet, diving at over 350 km/h without tearing itself apart. At the time, it looked like the peak of biological engineering, but the falcon has to be alive to impress you. DNA keeps archiving information long after the organism is dead. It's one thing to design a perfect machine. It's another to write the manual that copies itself, repairs itself, and outlasts the entire species. So the technical question stands, and it isn't comfortable. A system that compresses, indexes, reads, copies, and repairs itself in a hot, wet, living environment with no clean room and no external power. Does that level of functional integration just show up on its own? Or does it show up because someone integrated it? Before dreaming about what we do with that power, look at what happens when we trust our own technology. March 10th, 2021. Strasbourg, France. One of OVH Cloud's data centers, one of the largest hosting companies in Europe, catches fire and burns to the ground. Millions of websites go dark, and many companies discover, on the worst possible day, that their data simply no longer existed. No copy, no way back. Entire businesses evaporated in a single night because all their memory lived in one metal warehouse the fire devoured in hours, and you don't have to look that far. Ask anyone about the phone that fell in the pool, the laptop that died with the only copy of a manuscript inside, the drive holding a lifetime of photos that one day simply stopped spinning. Total data loss isn't some rare European headline. It's something that happens to each of us all the time. 700,000 years in the permafrost on one side, a few hours of fire on the other. That's the chasm. And even knowing this, we already tried to copy DNA. In 2017, Yaniv Erlich and Dina Zielinski at Columbia University took an entire operating system, a movie, a computer virus, and a scientific study, translated all of it into the 4 chemical letters, and recorded it inside synthetic DNA. Then they recovered the files intact. It worked. That's how the number 215 petabytes per gram came off the page. But there was a catch. It was expensive, it was slow, and it required a cutting-edge lab to do what a single one of your cells does thousands of times a day, for free, in the dark, without complaining. Now imagine truly mastering it. All of humanity's library in a single grain. Files that survive blackouts, wars, and millennia without a single outlet. Data centers the size of a city shrunk down to a vial in a drawer. The end of obsolescence, the end of the funeral of data. That's the size of the prize. And that's exactly why the question at the end stings so much. Go back to the beginning, to that pinch of matter that fits in a coffee cup. Nature solved the problem of memory before there was a human brain capable of understanding what data even is. While we postpone the funeral of our files year after year, it was already archiving at a scale our best technology still stutters trying to imitate. And one question remains. Not theology, information theory and systems engineering. Where does the information come from that organizes the system that stores the information? Because it's one thing for matter to exist. It's another thing entirely for matter to carry a code. With an alphabet, grammar, compression, reading, copying, and error correction. Noise doesn't write manuals. Heat doesn't index files. Chance doesn't build error correction into the hardware. To believe that a system with a density of 215 petabytes per gram, one that reads, writes, executes, and repairs itself, assembled on its own in the dark, just because molecules happen to bump around at random, is like believing that a grenade exploding in a jewelry store would, by sheer luck, assemble a perfectly synchronized Swiss watch. Human engineering fails trying to simulate that code. Maybe the right question isn't, how do we copy it? Maybe it's, if the code is so perfect that our best technology still stutters trying to imitate it, who wrote the compiler? Where there's a design, there's a designer. If that just rewired your brain, hit subscribe. New videos every Monday and Friday breaking down the biological engineering that billion-dollar industries still can't replicate. See you in the next one.